Did the Bucks give Giannis too much power? Hit that subscribe button below. Little Butchie's Den here. One of the things that I've been thinking about during this whole Giannis conversation is how much power they gave to Giannis. Now, I understand that there's a lot of things in play. I understand you've got to keep your superstar happy, especially when you look at, hey, you can win a championship. You surround them with players. But I think this all starts when you give a player too much power. Now they're in control of everything. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now in Milwaukee is Giannis is somewhat calling his shots. He said, I'm not going to ask for a trade, but his agents maneuver and stuff. We're seeing all these rumors come out. But when you give your superstar that much power, and it starts with little things. It starts with having, Thanasis on the team. It starts with having Alex Antetokounmpo on a two-way. It starts with having, when I coached in the G League the first year of the Wisconsin Herd, it started with having one of Giannis's best buddies on the G League team. And realistically, he wasn't good enough. He should have been on the G League team. But it was a favor for Giannis. And when you do that, and I know the league is there, I get it. But when you do that, you set yourself up for some very hard decisions moving forward. This isn't just a Giannis thing. This is an NBA thing. All you have to do is look at LeBron in Cleveland and all the power that LeBron has. Most recently in LA, we've heard Jeannie Buss talk about, and the rumors come out there that, she was so upset with all the power and control that LeBron had. This is a situation that owners and players will always run into because the players ultimately are the ones to win championships. But when you're an owner and you're a front office, there has to be a fine line that you have to draw in the sand and say, we are not going to cross this. Now, for the Bucks, we've talked about this. Giannis's brothers on the team. Thanasis. Alex Antetokounmpo on a two-way. Most recently here. Still on a two-way with the Herd. And I understand there's a development side of this. So I get that. But when you give your players that much power, what does that ultimately do for you and your organization? Because when it goes south, or when that player says it's time to move on, or in the case of LeBron, when he makes the decision and goes to Miami to Cleveland, what do you have as an organization have? And that to me is my biggest thing that I look at with in general. How much power should an ownership group give to a player? How much power should the group, the general manager, put into while trying to form a roster? Here's the other side of it. And we've seen this now in Cleveland with LeBron, in Los Angeles. How much do you actually win? Now, the Lakers with LeBron, they won a bubble. The Bucks, they won a championship. So there's something to be said about you can win that way. But can it be sustainable? Can it be survive long enough is my question. And I think when you give that much power to a player, you've given up all your control. So you make decisions and you make moves that might not be for the best interest for the organization. And to me, that's the biggest thing here. Because Giannis has had the power, because LeBron had the power, both the Lakers and the Bucks sit here trying to figure out what needs to happen next. And it ultimately becomes, okay, for the Bucks, better situation. LeBron, he's old, probably his last year in the NBA. A heck of a career. But for Giannis and the Bucks, now everybody knows that this probably has run its course. So the offers aren't what it needs to be. And now Milwaukee needs to be greedy. And it sounds that's exactly what Milwaukee's doing. This is the first time that they haven't necessarily worried about what Giannis wants and said, no, this is what our organization needs. And I think Milwaukee should be extremely greedy here. Hold out as long as you can. Because if you hold out as long as you can, even if this means into the offseason, you're looking at better picks. You're looking at a true evaluation of what that young player that you want back in return. There is a groundwork in place on how to have success, not just as an organization, but as a small market, as an Oklahoma City, but you need to be able to get an ultra dynamic young player, and then you need to get a lot of assets, and you need to hit on those assets. So when I look at this in general, it worries me. I've been confused with some of the moves that they've made. It feels like the Bucks have made some desperation moves at times. That being said, they've been all in on Giannis, and they tried to make him happy as long, and that ultimately becomes the question. Did the Bucks give too much power to Giannis throughout his career? Let me know. Give me some comments. Let me know your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks.